Okay, the next position that we're going to do is called cat-cow pose. This is actually a yoga pose that's meant to open up the spine. Any of the nerve endings through each one of the spinal columns connects from the head all the way through the rest of the body. So it's really important to keep the spine open. Now we're going to start in a flat back, hands and knees position. And you'll see that Kristy has her hands right underneath her shoulders. Now, depending on if you have any carpal tunnel issues or elbow or shoulder issues, just make sure this feels comfortable. Ideally, we're going to be at 90 degrees. And the shoulders, she can hike all the way up to her ears. Notice that opposite position. And then we want those to go all the way down away from her ears. So it's amazing how much further you can drop those shoulders. And all we're going to do is bring the belly button toward the spine just a little bit to flatten out the back. See the difference there? And so that might be a little bit hard to do if you have any low back issues. Again, just do the best you can. The knees are going to be right underneath the hips. So she can bring hers in just a smidge if you notice. It's going to be like a nice firm table with 4 legs. And her head's going to relax down just a little bit so her head is in alignment with the body. And the back of the neck is really important that we don't hold any tension there. The more we can open up the neck and the back, the better. Especially that area through the occiput. And that's the base of the skull. So as we start, we're just going to move her head right there. We're going to tuck the chin just a smidge so you can see that nice long back. Now with everybody, it's going to be just a little bit different depending on where your issues are. We've all got back and neck grumpiness somewhere. And so making sure that the tops of the feet are nice and relaxed onto the floor, right behind the knees. You open up the tootsies as much as you can. As you inhale, what you're going to do is open up the booty just a little bit, which is probably the first position, not usually what we're used to doing. So she's going to open up through the back of the body. We're just going to do a little bit of a pelvic tilt. And then she's going to drop the center of her body. And then she's going to lift the head if it feels comfortable. Again, if you're in the middle of a headache cycle, you go as far as feels comfortable. Maybe you drop the head if you need to. Now on the exhale, she's going to round the back like a scaredy cat. This is the cat position. Dropping the head, tucking the tail. The next exhale, we're going to reverse. So now you just work with the breath. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Good. And drop the head just a little bit more, Kristy. Really releasing the back of the neck as much as you can. Good. And just follow the breath in and out of the body. So you'll notice in this position, I call this the 100-year stretch because you can constantly feel more and more releasing. You can do this for 100 years and still find places in your back that are grumpy. So if different areas are kind of not working the best that you'd like them to, you just use the breath. Just keep breathing into those spaces and going back and forth. And so you'll just do that as many times as is right on the CD, all the way through. You can even hear the breath going in and out. Use that nice deep belly breath. Good. So now she's coming back to flat back. And the next position that we're doing is called child's pose. So what Kristy's going to do is just bring her booty all the way back onto the heels. And the arms might go all the way forward. Now, we're going to do some modifications here because ideally what we'd like to do is get the forehead onto the floor and get some pressure in between the eyebrows. And why we do this is because that helps to stimulate the pituitary gland. And that, guy, is what tells every other gland what to do. So that's the releasing of hormones. It tells all the organs how to work together. It's a really, really important gland. It's the master guy. So right behind that is the pineal gland, and that's basically the woman partner of that pituitary. And so we like to stimulate both of those guys and allow them to come into balance. So what she can do here is take one fist on top of the other and place her forehead. And this is really great if you have a frontal bone headache or on the temporal bones, putting some pressure, if it feels okay, in between the eyebrows. And she's going to tuck her chin just a little bit to let the back of the neck get nice and long. So that's modified child's pose if it's hard for your head to get all the way down to the floor. Otherwise, we place some pressure, but everyone's body is much different. So it's different whether or not you can get the front of the body or the back of the body on the floor. Great. So Kristy, go ahead and release your arms out to the sides. And now we're going to bring the booty up just a little bit higher. In case you can't get your booty up off the floor, what you can do, if you can't get it all the way down, is just put a cushion right here and lean back. And if your arms are really tight, you can always just go down on your elbows. And that's plenty. Eventually, the low back, the middle back, and the upper back are going to start working together. We're going to get long through here, and especially in the middle of a headache cycle, I know this is one of everyone's favorite poses, is you relax the head and just drop it down. And just let go of any of that tension. And if it's too much, again, you can always come out of the pose. But this is one of the really good openers. It's like a candy necklace, right? It's all pushed together. We want to open that up to get the circulation up to the head so it can heal itself. Make sense? Perfect. Thank you, Kristy. So that's the modifications for the child's pose.